The album has finally dropped. Kanye West and Ty Dolla $ign have officially released their collab album Vultures Volume 1 on streaming. I've covered the rollout for this project in 7 videos, all adding up to over 150 minutes of me talking about this Vultures record, and it feels crazy to actually be able to listen to this thing on Apple Music. Now, in this video, I'm going to get into what I think about the album track by track, all the features, all the verses, etc. I was up at like 3 a.m. when this thing randomly dropped, and I listened to it numerous times back to back last night, as well as numerous times this morning. I thought about getting this video out earlier and rushing so I could get more views or something, but I really don't care. I want to give my true opinion on this thing, and I needed to listen multiple times over to really collect my thoughts. But before we get into my review of Vultures Volume 1, I want to cover the last few big events that happened in the rollout for historical purposes, mainly with the 2 listening parties. Now, where we last left off, Kanye had just announced the Chicago listening experience for the United Center, and a day before that event, he would drop Talking/Once Again on socials. On February 7th, he would upload this track. It's a combination of 2 songs, Once Again and then the North song where she's rapping over the James Blake sample. I'm not going to get too heavy into my thoughts on this track here, as it is included in the final project. It's on the track list. But what was weird was later in this day where he posted that track on Instagram, he would also announce a second listening event for New York the day after the Chicago show. The day of the Chicago event, Kanye would post the full Havoc-produced version of Vultures, which, I don't know, I think my crazy take here is that I prefer the original Vultures. But actually, as the event drew closer, the Chicago event, that is literally like an hour or 2 before Kanye went on stage, he would drop this Havoc-produced version on streaming with this 3-package deal of Vultures tracks called the Vultures Pack. He wouldn't just drop those editions of Vultures, he would also release Talking/Once Again as well on streaming, where people were like, you know what, this event's going down, he's already releasing some songs on Apple Music and Spotify, maybe this thing's really dropping at midnight. The New York event kind of threw people off, because we all thought, okay, Chicago listening event's going down, dropping the album then, because it would be February the 9th, the promised date. Things would go a little bit differently, but with hindsight, things went pretty damn well, I think. I'm going to run down the Chicago event. I went there, I did a vlog, and I gave my full thoughts on the show in that video, so if you want to get my full in-depth review of that event, go ahead, check out that video. But the stage was pretty simple, yet it worked. There were special guests such as Bump J, Freddie Gibbs, North, YG, and the track list was The Stars, which was a new intro track, Timbo Freestyle, Paid, Talking/Once Again, Everybody, Back to Me, Hood Rat, Do It, Paperwork, Burn, Fuck Some, Vultures, Carnival, Beg Forgiveness, Good, aka Don't Die, Problematic, and then King. Unfortunately, fans at home wouldn't get to hear that last track in full, King, because the stream was actually cut off due to the United Center's curfew. This was an entirely different track list than fans expected for Volume 1 though, so the reception of the show was very different simply based on the fact that people were waiting to hear tracks like River, like Slide. A lot of people were thinking, okay, we'll hear that at the New York show then, myself included. I was like, oh, he didn't play these tracks because he was going to play them at the New York show to give people a different experience, but the New York and Chicago show actually were pretty damn similar. There was audio issues with this stream though, which left a lot of fans at home too feeling a little bit unsatisfied about what they heard. Additionally, you had a lot of fans upset that the album didn't drop as promised, but DJ Ferris would go on and say, it's going to drop midnight Chicago time, which is 1 hour behind Eastern, and as that hour came, album obviously didn't drop. The next day, we'd see that Kanye and Ty were recording new vocals, literally right before the show, right before they walked on stage at the United Center, which is just crazy to me. But a lot of people were like, okay, didn't drop after the Chicago event at midnight, but they got the New York show. That could be the album launch, which actually, they're pretty damn right. Now, before this New York show goes down, there was some beef between Ye and Ozzy Osbourne. Now, Ozzy's a legend, right, for rock fans. He was the lead singer of Black Sabbath, and he is sampled on the track Carnival, at least he was. In between Kanye's verse and Ty's verse, you get this little break in the beat where there's a live performance of Black Sabbath's track Iron Man, where you hear Ozzy singing, you hear the legendary guitar riff on that track as well, and it sounded fucking awesome. But Ozzy would put out this message here, and I don't think it was Ozzy. Like, it's fucking weird. This is some cop-ass shit. Where he would say, basically, I am not approving the sample. Kanye played it at the Chicago show, even though I am not allowing him to use that on the song. Basically saying he doesn't want to be associated with an anti-Semite who caused so many people so much harm and hurt. It's just a really weird moment, and Ye would basically comment on his Instagram story saying, like, yeah, he's definitely got a fucking celebrity handler. This is not Ozzy Osbourne, bro. This is not the motherfucker who bit the head off a bat. He dressed up as Kanye for Halloween last year, too. Ye would change the song, though, and we'll get into that in a little bit, with the help of Mike Dean. Fuck yes. The New York show's coming up, though. Kanye puts out some Instagram posts of his fit for the show, promoting the event before it goes down. In just a few minutes before the show begins, there's some posts going out on Twitter of fans spotting Mike Dean at the event. And yeah, his contributions to this record, I don't know if it was done within literally just the past few hours before the show started, but like, his influence would be very much heard at this event. This listening party in New York was essentially a more refined and polished version of the Chicago show and would leave fans feeling a lot better about this record and the songs played. Now the track list here was Carnival. Really started off first and played twice to send a message to Ozzy. In the Stars, Timbo Freestyle, Paid, Talking, Everybody, Back to Me, Hood Rat, Do It, Paperwork, Burn, Hood by Air, as Playboi Carti came out and joined Ye on stage for Fuck Some and Carnival, and following that, Vultures was played along with Beg Forgiveness, Good, aka Don't Die, Problematic, and King. The album sounds pretty much finished. There's a lot of awesome fucking synths put on by Mike Dean. The audio was clean as hell. The show is over. It's midnight. And the album still doesn't drop. People are really happy with what they heard, but at the same time, it's like, when is this thing coming out? And then about an hour and a half after the event finishes, Kanye puts out an Instagram story. It's a message from Trackster, which reads, Vultures 1 has been delivered on 2/9/2024. We will see it on digital streaming platforms over the next 24 to 48 hours. We fucking won. The shit drops only about 2 hours after Ye posted that message, with the track list pretty much being exactly what we heard at the streaming event, minus Beg Forgiveness and Everybody. It first appeared on Tidal and people literally thought like Kanye's page just got hacked, but it was legit. Soon it would show up on Apple. Spotify was really fucking up here. Beg Forgiveness would soon be added on Apple Music and Tidal, but Everybody still, as of this filming, remains off the track list and off streaming. I would assume that's just because of sample issues. We'll see what happens with that track in the future. But the cover is not what we assumed it would be. It's not the picture of the vulture at the beach or whatever, which in my opinion was kind of a weak album cover. Instead, it's a picture taken by Os Taylor of Ye in the Jason mask with his wife Bianca, and in my opinion, it looks hard as fuck. But officially, this thing is on streaming, 16 tracks long for a total of 56 minutes, all released in total under Yeezy independently. The track list is Stars, Keys to My Life, which is the new title for Timbo Freestyle, Paid, Talking, Back to Me, Hood Rat, Do It, Paperwork, Burn, Fuck Some, Vultures, Carnival, Beg Forgiveness, Good, aka Don't Die, Problematic, and King. It was number one in just about every single country before Apple Music shadow banned Kanye and Ty's record here. Really fucked up, honestly. But let's be fucking real here. Kanye actually delivered on the promised date. There's a lot of anticipated songs by fans that were previously played at that Miami listening event that were left off this Volume 1 track. But I think we got to remember, we got 2 more Vultures records on the way. I'd imagine those grails, like Slide and River, are going to show up on the next 2 projects. And honestly, I think it's a really good sign that some of those finished songs, or at least thought to be finished tracks, aren't on this project. It means they're shelving away and already planning for the next Volumes 2 and 3. Now, because I'm such a big JPEG Mafia fan, and I know a lot of you guys are too, I want to point out a post that he made, basically just talking about what tracks he produced, because he did work on this Volume 1. Even though he doesn't have a feature on the record, he announced that he has production credits on Stars, Fuck Some, Beg Forgiveness, and King. And I just want to shout out my boy. I honestly think JPEG Mafia is one of the most talented artists in this generation, and I am so happy him and Kanye are building that relationship and finally linked up. But now that we've covered the last events in the rollout here, we've officially covered Volume 1's rollout, man. I want to say thank y'all for allowing me to bring you the news, allowing me to, describe all the events going down, and of course, as always, supporting me and watching my videos on the channel. Now, let's get into this album. I'm going to talk about my thoughts on everything, track by track. And we got to start out with this track, Stars. It's a beautiful song with some awesome drums. I think it's an awesome intro as well. It's not as hype as Everybody. I don't think it captures the energy of the project as much as Everybody did, being that club hit or whatever. But at the same time, man, for like the fans, this is the perfect intro. There's also some great singing and great vocals from Kanye on this track, as well as a lot of other tracks on this album. Like, Kanye's really improved his singing over the years, and it seems as if he's just getting better and better as time goes on. Following this, we got track 2, formerly known as Timbo Freestyle, officially on streaming. This song's titled Keys to My Life. I'm not as crazy about this song as I am other tracks on this project, but I do love Ty on the chorus with his vocals. I think he sounds just so angelic. Also, that girl who everyone clowned, India Love. I think she sounds pretty good on this project on the outro. I think she sounds alright, But we get right back to the hits, because I love the intro track, and I also love track 3, Paid. Now, we don't have that intro where that guy's like, say it again, $, or whatever the fuck, but going right into the instrumental of this track sounds fucking just as cool in my opinion. The beat on this thing's perfect. They kind of played a weird version at the Chicago event, but this version, in my opinion, is perfect. They got the beat just right. I love the point in this track where Kanye and Ty are trading vocals back and forth, where they say, like, life flew by too fast, old stomach is the new ass. I think that goes so hard. Also, I'm glad they kept the Roxanne part of Kanye singing like that, kind of unhinged. I think it sounds great. Especially when you're talking about a track where it's like, I'm just here to get paid. It goes along with the theme of the song. I love the Marshawn Lynch sample, and then the outro with this guy, KC. I don't know if it's a sample or I think it's a sample. It's not like a fresh vocal. But the drums fade out, and then they come back in over the vocals. It sounds fucking great. And then we got Talking. And I don't know how anybody can say they don't like this track with North just doing her thing. And there's also a really cool parallel. I tweeted about it earlier this week of overall a commentary on fatherhood. Obviously, I'm not a dad, just a little too fucking young, but just, you got North on the first half of this song over that James Blake sample, doing her thing, expressing her creativity really to the fullest extent that a child could, just rapping over this verse, having fun with it. And then as the track transitions into Once Again, you have Ty and Kanye singing about how it is to be a dad. You got them in this second half singing about being a dad, stopping your kid from doing the same exact shit that you did as a kid, but it's not, now you can see it's out of a place of love, wanting to keep them safe rather than stopping them from having a good time. Kanye's vocals at the end of this too, just once again, man, he's getting his fucking pipes, bro. It's crazy. And it's something that's fascinating to me. Like, there's a lot of vocalists over the years, like Ollie Sykes of Bring Me the Horizon. You could see just the evolution of certain artists and their vocal performances, to me, is a beautiful thing. And now we got Back to Me, and unfortunately, I kind of ruined my listening experience for this track because this was the song I overplayed the fuck out of following the first time we heard it at the Miami listening event. But it is still an awesome track, a banger. Ty Dolla $ign on the chorus. This is one of my favorite choruses I've heard probably in the last 10 years. Also, you got the sample from that movie. I fell in love with you. We fell in love with you. Guys like us just don't fall out the sky, which is fucking perfect. The beat comes in. Kanye's verse 2 is just iconic. They didn't get the, did I do that sample approved, but Kanye doing it is just fine in my opinion. And then the second verse too, man, the people fucking love it. Like, going to that listening event in Chicago, how could you hate on it? He's just having fun with it with the, beautiful big titty butt naked women. They just don't fall out the sky. It's just a fact of life. Freddie Gibbs kills it on his verse, and like I said, to me, this song with the drums and everything and Ty's beautiful vocals, you just got to give it to him. They got a hit. Hood Rat is an interesting song to me. A lot of Yeezus energy in this one. You got the repetitive sample just repeating that phrase Hood Rat before finally the beat stops and then comes back in and you hear a very Yeezus-esque scream from Kanye. It's so hype. I thought this track would maybe be a little more sinister with Ye just going crazy on the mic, but it's actually like a tragic, romantic love type of... It took a turn in that direction, which I didn't expect, honestly. Some very interesting bars, especially on the first verse here. My favorite probably being, But I respect your feelings. When your toes tried to touch the ceiling, having safe sex, of course. Every time I hear that, I fucking laugh my ass off. But it kind of matches the vibe of Vultures. And I saw some people being like, I like Donda a lot more. And that's great. That's an opinion. I think Donda's a great album. But I relate listening to Donda versus listening to this Vultures project as like watching Oppenheimer versus watching, I don't know, Superbad. Donda is this long, emotional, cinematic masterpiece. It really is. But not every day do I want to sit down and watch a 3-hour documentary-esque movie like Oppenheimer. Sometimes I want to joke around with my friends, have a good time, and just watch something funny like Superbad. And two of those things can be great and exist at the same time. This Vultures project is an album where Kanye, yes, still has vulnerable moments, but mostly is making these club hits where he is simply having fun with it. And in my opinion, when Kanye is having fun with it, I have fun listening. And also, they do have good bars on this song. Like, at the end of this first verse, they say, "Catch me on your TV, heartbroke GD." Which is like, holy shit. When I first heard that, I was like, man. And then on verse 2, Kanye picks up the pace. And it's one of my favorite moments on the album, honestly. And it ends with this Mike Tyson sample, where he's talking about Kanye, just the anomaly of Kanye as a person. He's like, he's a leader, and yeah, you could say he has mental problems, but every leader does. It's a really powerful moment, and when I first heard it at the Chicago show, I couldn't believe it. Then we got one of my favorite songs on the album, formerly known as Money on the Floor. This one is called Do It, featuring YG and Nipsey Hussle. Now, I am not familiar with this Nipsey Hussle verse. I think it's sampled, but it acts as the intro for the song, and it's perfect right before the drums really kick in, the beat gets going, and you get Ty on the chorus doing his thing. He has a great verse on this track too, but in my opinion, Kanye just has a jaw-dropping performance with his contributions to this track. His verse here, specifically this line where he says, "Southside, do or die, Chi-Town, top 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, who am I?" Like, holy shit. And then, of course, the iconic, very quotable line, "I just bought my bitch a bitch." Like, he's fucking back. I really appreciate Ye, Jesus is King, and Donda separately for their experience and specifically, what they mean to Kanye's career and his various eras respectively over the past 5-6 years. But to me, this project really marks like the return of Yeezy. These quotable bars here is something we haven't had for a long time, because Kanye's music over the past like 8-7 years has been really introspective. YG does his thing too, and while I'm not as crazy about the drums that come in when his verse gets going, I still can appreciate it. And honestly, I could say that I listened to that rip from the Rave number 2 where they played this song a whole lot, so that's maybe just a bias from listening to it for so long. But just the flute, everything on this track, what a fucking banger. Then we got Paperwork. This is one that's been growing on me recently. I'm still not super crazy about this track. Quavo has a really nice verse, I like that, and also I like the really distorted fucking guitar that separates the verses from Kanye, Ty, and the previously mentioned Quavo. Honestly, not too much to say about this one. I think it is a grower. We'll see how I feel about it as time moves on. But track number 9, man, I can't believe this song made the album. I'm really happy it did. I'm talking about Burn. And this is just a fucking smooth ass song. You sit back and you smoke to. Like, this is some classic Kanye shit over, a classic Kanye-esque beat. Ty's contributions to this track as well, man, like with both the refrain and the chorus. You gotta give this guy his respect. I can't believe it. He's so smooth with the vocals and everything. And then, of course, we got that Kanye verse, which is so fucking good. Talking about, his former presidential campaign, which failed. Who's not entertained by my pain, which is so crazy. As, you got all these events going down in Kanye's life where he is getting himself wrapped up in controversy, saying the wrong things, making mistakes, but everyone's watching and getting clicks and monetizing off of his suffering. Then, of course, the iconic last line, "Heard R. Kelly's in the next Balenciaga ad." Crazy. Now we get to talk about Fuck Some. And while there is no Quavo, what a track. That snippet in the beginning of this track is so fucking hard before the beat kicks in, and I'm just so happy they got the beat right. They really did, and we heard some snippets over the past month that sounded like they tweaked the beat and made it, honestly, in my opinion, a lot worse than the original snippet we had, but they got it right. They really did. Cardi on this track too, man. Especially with the post-chorus, him just being like, "Shawty wanna fuck?" It's so fucking, he just sounds great. And then his verse, I don't think it's as good as his one on Carnival by any means necessary, but it's definitely grown on me as I listen to it in high quality. In the Chicago show, in that video, I was like, I'm not feeling his verse. It's within a matter of like 48 hours, I'm fucking feeling it now. Now, Kanye's vocals on the bridge are, I don't know, delivered by fucking Alvin and the Chipmunks. I don't know why he decided to go with this style. It's growing on me a little bit, I can't lie, but it's just so strange, especially by the time you get to even Jesus didn't marry a virgin. It's like he like slowed it down and distorted it there. I like him when his verse comes in too, and he's rapping in a normal tone where he has this crazy finishing line calling back to a controversy from about 6 to 7 months ago where he was seen on a boat with his butt crack visible getting some fucking head, bro. Like, he's very self-aware nowadays. He has a lot of verses calling back to shit in the Kanye community that like us Kanye fans meme about all the fucking time. And he finishes his verse here saying, "Suck on me publicly." It's fucking crazy. Then you got Travis Scott with a verse on the back end of this song. And honestly, I'm not feeling his verse that much, especially when you had Quavo delivering like the verse of his career in the early version of this song. I like Travis's ad-libs where he's like, especially the same one, like the scream he did on Backrooms, but still a great fucking track. The beat's crazy. What else is there to say? Track 11 is Vultures, featuring Bump J, Lil Durk. We've already talked about this one a lot. I love Lil Durk's verse. This is the one that, it was the original beat, not the Havoc produced version. I'm glad they went with the OG version. I think it fits the album a lot more. But then we get into another highlight of the album, my personal favorite track off this thing, Carnival, featuring Rich the Kid and Playboi Carti. First heard this track at that Las Vegas rave. And while it was a very rough cut, I knew this song had potential from the start. You got the choir on this one singing, and we recently got some insider news that Kanye's like a huge wrestling fan, and specifically his favorite wrestler is Cody Rhodes, which fucking shout out, finish the goddamn story. But I really think he got inspired by Seth Rollins' theme song. He's got a song where the fans really sing along with him like a choir, and when I put two and two together, I was like, you know what, he definitely, if he is a wrestling fan, there's some inspiration from Rollins on this track. The choir goes hard, and you hear Carti doing his little, like, "see ya" fucking ad-lib. It's crazy. Rich the Kid absolutely kills his contributions to this track, both with his vocals on the chorus and his verse. Then Ty's verse, too. Like, awesome. Now, in between Ty and Kanye's verse is where you had the Iron Man snippet, the sample. And instead of having that now, because Ozzy refuses to clear a 7-second sample that would get him paid for the rest of his life, he would basically have to do nothing except for approve it, and don't worry, the fucking media wouldn't have came after you, bro. No one really cares. I just think that's so stupid, I'm sorry. But they made it even better, I think. Instead of doing that, they had Mike Dean come in and do the guitar riff heard on Hell of a Life. And the pace is a little bit slower than it is on that track, but like, holy shit.
I just want to say here really quick, I'm assuming, my hair looks fucking crazy from this angle. I'm assuming Mike Dean did the guitar, we don't know for sure. I'm only assuming that because he did the lick on Dark Fantasy with Hell of a Life, so it makes sense. Also, he was at the listening event yesterday. But it could have been OG Volta, they got production credits, but with the synths added to this track, like, I think it's the synth god. It's probably Mike Dean. I don't know.
I can't express enough how much I love that little interlude, where it's just like the choir is so powerful and the synths are so crazy, when everything kind of just, it gives you a breather, it all goes away and fades out, and you have a moment where it's just a simple, just that guitar. Bam, Kanye's verse comes back in. My favorite moment of the album, I think. Kanye's verse here is so unhinged, literally Yeezus energy all the way to 10, which really fits the crazy sonic atmosphere heard on this track with the instrumental and everything. I mean, he's saying, now I'm Ye Kelly bitch, now I'm Bill Cosby bitch, now I'm Puff Daddy rich, that's hashtag me to me rich. It's crazy. And then Playboi Carti on this track. How have we not even gotten to talk about that? Such a good fucking verse. In my opinion, one of my favorite Carti verses I've ever heard in my life. Like, damn. Outstanding track. And is followed by Beg Forgiveness featuring Chris Brown. And what they did to this song is like, man. Because originally we hadn't heard Kanye and Ty's parts on the back end, only that Chris Brown part. And people were like, oh, are Kanye and Ty just going to add their vocals in with his part? No, they added a completely new wrinkle to this track that makes it a real, just cinematic ass masterpiece, honestly. Chris Brown part is awesome. We've talked about it a lot on this channel though, so I don't have much to add. And then you get into a verse by Kanye, which is really good. He's riding on that beat before it transitions into this very dramatic, like there's sharp strings and just these vocals that are very much like out of like a fucking ancient Greek play energy. It's crazy. I don't know how to describe it. And they're just saying beg forgiveness constantly until Ty comes in with these vocals. It's just crazy. He finishes out saying, you know, I'm still waking up with murder on my mind. Just Jesus. Things slow down with the very Bon Iver sounding good, parentheses, don't die. I don't really have too much to add to this track, but it's very beautiful. It's very clappable. It's like very easy to clap to, I feel like. And then we get some introspective yay on Problematic, where you see Kanye spit some of the most, I think some of his best bars on this entire album, talking about how in order to escape the paparazzi and everybody coming at his throat, he's got to go to Japan to get some solace, to get some, you know, time to just breathe. And then he ends this track saying shit is fucking ridiculous, calling back to So Appalled off My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Man, when I heard that at the Chicago listening event, I was like, fuck, dude, like I couldn't believe he said that. And everyone around me, you could hear the whole arena being like, oh my god, crazy moment. And then things finish out with track 16, King, where Kanye really talks about the anomaly of Kanye West. A lot of people said Kanye wouldn't come back from his words and actions in late 2022. They said, this is it. He's gonna be finally canceled. And here this motherfucker is selling out stadiums and arenas once again. The chorus of this track sees Kanye say this: crazy, bipolar, anti-Semite, and I'm still the king. They thought headlines were my kryptonite, but I'm still the king. He's just embracing all of his controversies in a way and saying, like, there's nothing that's going to stop me. No matter what I say, I'm always going to be respected. I'm always going to be a figure in the music industry. I love Kanye finally, once again, saying, like, huh? That's one of my favorite fucking things with, like, old Kanye verses from Cruel Summer and shit, like that 2010s energy. I love it. And then also talking about Kanye referring to his own, like, lore over the past year in the rollout for Vultures. He calls back to that rant he had after the Las Vegas listening party where he says, shut the hell up before you get exiled. I fucking lost my shit when I heard that. The beat on this one, it's hard not to vibe out to it and just listen to all the shit Kanye's saying. It's a real fascinating way to end this project. And in general, I don't think this project is what a lot of us thought it was going to be. Just the overall structure and sounds and song choices, the track list, very different than what I thought especially. But overall, man, I really fucking like this. I think a lot of the songs that we expected, the grails like River, like Slide, they're being saved for volumes 2 and 3, which, like I said, is a good thing. I love this album. Like, I really love this album. I don't think there's a single skip. I mean, there's a few songs that I don't think are as hype or as, you know, awesome as a Carnival or a Fuck Some. I think, like, Keys to My Life and Paperwork are just a little bit like, meh. Also, Good, aka Don't Die. It's just such a different vibe from the rest of the album that it kind of catches you off guard if you're in the first or second listen, I think. But man, just like, what a project, and what a way to kick off this Vultures trilogy. It's very much giving, like, this CM Punk clip.
The king is back, baby.
I'm a big fan, and you know what the best fucking part about this shit is? We're just getting started. I'm really feeling good about at least a volume 2 rollout around that date in March that Kanye announced. Just based off the fact that so many songs didn't appear on this record. And I don't know if he'll meet that March date, but, like, I think we'll at least be having some listening events going down around that point in time. We'll see what happens. You know my ass will be here reporting everything for you guys. It's been a fun fucking ride. Hope you guys are enjoying the album. We fucking made it. What can you say, man? The king is back.